What's up, Flavor Fiends? This is Jace at Black Raven Pit and Purpose, and this week we're doing beef cheeks. It's great meat to go on tacos. I'm super excited to see how these turn out. Let's go ahead and go to the prep that we did yesterday. Okay, so prepping beef cheeks is actually pretty simple. Just like most cuts of meat, you'll want to, cut away any silver skin. So I cut away as much as I could here. Admittedly, there's still a few parts there that are kind of hanging on, so it is what it is. You also want to trim away any thicker pieces of fat. So you want it overall pretty lean. You want to just get down to the meat. One thing I also do is I just lightly score all of the meat on both sides just to kind of give the rub an extra chance to get inside. So let's go ahead and jump in. I'm going to take a little bit of mustard here. We're going to use that as our binder. Let's pop that down here. Now you won't need much. We're actually not looking to add on too much rub on these guys, so just like a light thing of mustard should be fine. It's gonna go like that. Okay, go ahead and spread that around. So I am using mustard today because I just think it really pairs well with the rub that we're using, which is my own Bayou Blaze. So this is a pretty spicy rub. I like to use it anytime I'm, making anything that might require a little bit of a kick. Today, I'm planning on turning these beef cheeks into taco meat. So I figured something spicy is probably the best idea because who doesn't like spicy tacos? All right, got those pretty well covered. Now, as far as the amount of rub, we don't want to cake this on. I will also say that the type of rub that you use matters. You don't want to use any that has any sort of sugar in it. That's another reason that I chose the Bayou Blaze, because this is just no sugar. It's a lot of salts and various types of herbs. Overall, it's going to be a really great pick for this. So again, we don't want to cake it. We just want to kind of get it on there. So we'll just kind of spread this out as best we can here. Okay, that looks pretty good. Get these other ones. And then got a little heavy, so we'll just kind of dab that a little bit. Okay, now that we got those sides done, let's go ahead and flip them over. Pat these down a little bit, just to kind of help make sure that rub sticks. And flip. Oops. Oh, that's okay. Not a big deal. Alright, I'm going to remove a glove because I don't actually want to get any of this junk on a bottle of mustard. Make fun of me all you want. That's just one of my little quirks, I guess you could say. Try and keep things as clean as possible. Yeah, it looks like this bottle of mustard's almost done anyway. So we'll probably just end up throwing this out by the time I get done. But for those of you that have been watching me long enough, you've probably caught on that I either change gloves pretty regularly or I'll switch to gloveless if I don't want to be, getting whatever I'm touching on other things I'm going to be touching. So I don't know. It's probably a little OCD, but it is what it is. All right, so now we got mustard on our other sides here. Go ahead and take our rub and get back to sprinkling. And again, you don't want to cake this on. Super important that you use a rub that does not have any sugar. Sugar will actually make the meat tougher. And we want to try and get this just as tender and pull apart as we can. Just because we're going to be pulling it apart later, which you'll see later on in this video. All right, so just a light covering. That looks pretty good. All right, now I am going to take this glove off. All right, so now what we want to do is just lightly cover these with foil. You don't want to get it airtight because we still want to have some air movement while we have these sitting in the fridge overnight. But again, just kind of lightly cover them. If you're really worried, you can poke some holes in the foil. I'm going to. Every little bit helps, but just kind of do what you think is best and just make sure that you're not making it airtight. So what I do is I just kind of cinch my foil on there. Do a second layer. Cover up this other side. And then I'll take my scissors, kind of poke a few holes. And that should be really all we need. So we'll go ahead and do this other one here. So overall, you want to leave these in the fridge for about 12 to 14 hours total. For instance, I am planning to get up tomorrow at about 7 a.m. to kind of get these started. It's about 7 p.m. as I'm making this video. So we should have just the perfect amount of time. Pop a few more holes in this guy too. But we should be just at the right amount of time. So now that these are covered in foil, they got rub all over them, their holes are poked in, ready to go in the fridge, and then we'll get started on smoking them tomorrow morning. Okay, so now that our beef cheek has had a chance to kind of just sit in the fridge with the rub on it for about 12 to 14 hours, we're ready to go into the smoker. I have my smoker set at 275 degrees. Now, if it's warmer where you're at, you might want to set it to 250 degrees. I'm always a fan of low, slow cooking, but with how cold it is outside right now, I have it set at 275. If you want to set it at 275, no matter what temperature it's at where you're at, that's totally fine too. You're not going to hurt anything. It's just something to watch out for. Now I'm going to throw these in here. We're looking for an internal temperature of about 165 degrees, and then we'll move on to the next step. Stick my probe in the thickest piece here. It's looking like this one. Yeah, that is tough. All right. Close her up. Okay, now you may have noticed that I have a water pan inside my smoker as well. That's just kind of to help keep things moist. So I'm just kind of hoping for the best with that. Not necessarily required for these, but I would probably suggest it. So we're going to let these guys sit until they hit an internal temperature of 165 degrees, and we'll be ready to move on. Okay, so we've hit our internal temp of 165 degrees, so it's time to move on to the next step, which is braising. So in a foil pan, you're going to put about 1.25 cups of beef broth and about a 1/2 cup of lard. You're just going to kind of lay it in the bottom. I would show you a little bit better, but if I tilt this too much, it's probably going to spill all over the place. But you're just going to throw all your pieces into one pan, cover it with foil. But the most important thing before you pull it is to check your bark. So let's go ahead and take a look at what our meat's looking like right now. So overall, you want a dark coloring to the bark. Once you see that dark color and reach 165 degrees internal, we are ready to move on to the pan. Just want to fit it all in here as best you can. Ideally, we don't want a ton of overlap, but it's looking like we're just going to have to make do here. All these pieces are pretty big chunks, so I'm just going to put this in and hope for the best. Okay, that looks pretty good. And next, we're going to wrap this tightly in foil. Pinching all my edges as tight as I can around it. One more piece here. Try and get this to just barely cover it. There we go. Alright, then we'll put it back in the smoker. Alright, so for now, it's just a waiting game. We're going to leave this in here until we can actually poke a probe through it with absolutely no resistance in the meat. So it's going to take a little while. Probably got about 90 to 120 minutes until it's actually at that point. We should also see an internal temperature of about 203, 205 degrees right around then. So we're going to check this in just a little bit and kind of just see what the probe is feeling like as we push it through. But again, as soon as you can push a probe through with no resistance, the meat's done, and then we can move on to the last step. Oh, that is perfect. Absolutely no resistance in the meat. Check a few other ones just to be safe. Yep, this feels like we are ready for our next step here. So let's take it out and get it in the cooler. All right, so we'll leave this in the cooler for about 4 hours. Be sure and cover it with a couple towels just to keep everything as hot as we can. Go in like that. I try and get mine just as tightly covered as I can, so I'll, have a towel kind of wrapped around the front, another one kind of wrap around the back. Tuck that in and close her up. All right, so it's been 4 hours. Let's go ahead and unwrap this guy and start shredding up. Ooh, yeah. This smells amazing. Tell you what, we'll get you guys a look at this before I shred, so you can see what I see here. That looks perfect. Exactly what we're looking for. All right, let's get shredding. All right, now that our beef cheek is all smoked, shredded, we're ready to go. I'm ready to make some tacos, but first let's try this stuff out. See how we did. We're just gonna grab a little chunk here. Nope, that's a big chunk. We'll try this one. Looks good. Oh my gosh. So the fat has definitely rendered down. You can taste it within the juices, but it's like the spice from the rub just kind of kicks in right after you taste it. It's just super smooth, just so juicy. This is absolutely delicious. Like, I'm so happy with how this turned out. Oh my God, I'm gonna go in for one more little piece. It literally melts in your mouth. As soon as you bite down, it just like squishes. It just becomes like this, not liquid, but you can just feel it breaking apart as you chew. This is amazing. Gosh, I love this. So for some additional things that you can do to kind of kick this up a little bit is you can add a little bit of lime juice to it and then throw it in like a cast iron skillet just for a little bit, like about 10 minutes on about medium. Just kind of give the meat a good quick cook real quick with some of that lime juice, and that'll really hit hard. I personally like to do the lime juice, but I will put the whole thing in the oven at about 170 degrees for about 10 minutes. That I feel just like really lets the lime juice kind of sink into the meat. So that way, you know, when you actually go about making your tacos, you don't have to squeeze any lime over it. It's just perfect, ready to go. This is the right amount of salty. It has so much flavor in it. Oh my gosh. This is just perfect. I could not have asked for this to come out any better, I don't think. And that spicy rub that I put on there, oh, that Bayou Blaze, it kicks on anything that you put it on. It's just really good. But this might be my favorite thing I've ever eaten it on. It's just the right amount of spice. And then when you get like the fat and the meat combo coming through, it's just so tasty. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go ahead and get this upstairs so I can feed the rest of the family here. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate all the likes, shares, comments, subscriptions to my YouTube channel. All that really helps me a lot. So thank you for all of you who participate. And gosh, I just can't get over how good this turned out. Be sure, excuse me. Be sure and check out the Child Saving Institute. Their website is below if you'd like some more information other than what I've shared with you here. Otherwise, I'm definitely ready to eat. I'm going to go upstairs and get ready for dinner. Thanks so much.